SJ. Welcome to Mvskoke Radio, your weekly source for tribal and community news, interesting guests and discussions, plus a local events calendar.
SJ, Stone Gold, Darren DeLon, Gio Jeff Cados. Welcome to Mvskoke Radio. We are giving Gary Fife a break. He's going to be off the next 2 weeks. It's a well-deserved vacation for him. Just want to thanks to my technical producer, Brooks Brewer, man. He's doing an awesome, phenomenal job. And I got to say congratulations again one more time. I'm going to keep doing this for a while for the recent change to 106.3 FM. So I think that's a great thing. He's getting more listeners, and it's going to pretty far, much further. Man, I was going to let you know, Brooks, before we go into our first thing. Have you ever had sunburn in your eyes? Have you ever had that?
I've had a burn through welding. I mean, I was a welding burn in my eyes. Yeah. It's brutal.
I just got back from vacation not too long ago. We was at the beach, and of course, sunburn, all over, shoulders, mainly the shoulders. Yeah. I got it in my eye. Don't ask me how. Yeah, don't ask me.
You didn't wear sunglasses or anything like that?
No. I thought I covered out. I thought I was under. We had an umbrella that we pitched out on the sand, and I stayed under there majority of the time.
How did it affect you? How did you know you had sunburn?
It's just tearing up, watering up, and it feels like they're saying it feels like pink eye because it's like gritty, and it feels like you're just wanting to constantly itch and everything. Yeah. But they said it was a sunburn. Sunburn,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you get for going on vacation.
I know.
Ask me to go or anybody else. Just
exactly. Yeah. So, but next time I'm gonna have to figure out a way to put sunscreen on the eyeball.
Yeah, you got to come out with that, man.
Yeah. So if we get that going next year, yeah, exactly. So, but we got a great show for y'all today. Thanks again, Brooksy, for talking with me this morning, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. Our first guest today is he's our game ranger for the Mvskoke Creek Nation Light Horse Tribal Police Department. His name is Joe Dawson. How you doing today, Joe?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing okay. Joe, I'm pretty sure Joe don't remember. Joe's been around law enforcement for a while now, and he started out with Tulsa Police Reserves, and he went to Morris. He was at Morris before he graced us with his presence over at Light Horse. But Joe was one of the first people in Morris that's ever pulled me over. Of course, I mean, never could get mad at the guy. I mean, because of course he's doing his job, and I was breaking the law. I did what we called the Oklahoma rolling stop through a stop sign, and I know Joe saw it right then and there. And then he goes, you know what? I remember Joe walking up to me. He goes, you know why I got you? And I just remember looking down. I go, yeah. That's all I could say. I mean, I had to admit it was guilt.
You're not the only one, sir. Yeah. You're not the only one. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No worries. Well, Joe, I mean, I want to talk to you about you got a lot of things going on. Doing a lot. Not only are you a game ranger with Light Horse, and if for some of our listeners, what does a game ranger do? I know I know a lot of them know about sergeants, captains, lieutenants, patrolmen. But what does a game ranger? Where do you exactly go for the Mvskoke Creek Nation Light Horse?
Okay, as light horse officers, I'm a police officer first and foremost. I am a light horseman. Their duties involve property crimes, illegal hunting, fishing, dumping, trespassing. Those are more of my areas of expertise that I follow up on to keep our patrol guys out working, taking care of their business. I've been doing this for about 1.5 years now, so that's where we're at with that.
With game rangers, of course I think that for me, I hear it like that. It goes to the lakes and stuff like that. Maybe like in areas like counties, like if they have lakes and stuff like that. But for you, as a matter of fact, Mvskoke Creek Nation is pretty good size. It's 11 counties. So do you have to do your best, try and or cover all those areas, or try and get as much as you can throughout that time?
I have some problem areas that citizens have voiced concerns, whether it be illegal dumping or trespassing or just people out being general hooligans, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I will take those calls, add them in my patrol route, verify that they are restricted property, and that's where my jurisdiction happens mostly.
Right. Good to hear, and plus it's good to hear to knowing that the citizens are giving you a call just in case. I mean, because I know a lot of people will just turn away from it. You know, they just will be quiet about it. So I'm glad they're able to just give you a call. I'm glad, you know, we got people that pick up that phone and answer and say, hey, okay, I'm going to be out there. I'm going to be there to help you out.
Yeah, follow-up's important with any job, and that's particularly where I have the time. I can go back and follow up. If it's an ongoing issue, you know, it may take several months of patrolling to even spot any signs of anything. So I'm fortunate I have time to do that for the citizens.
Good to hear. Good to hear. You know, Game Ranger Dawson, you know, there's a lot of things that you do. Of course, we're going to talk about the Light Horse Explorers. A lot of people might not know about that. Could you tell us a little bit what the Explorers do?
Sure. The Explorers, 14 to 20, it's part of Learning for Life, which is part of the Boy Scout program. Yes, it is a lot of police work. We do involve them with the police department, but as far as I'm concerned, it's more of a citizenship learning those things they really don't teach at school. Mm-hmm. As far as taking care of our elders, a big part of our curriculum involves Creek culture, trying to teach that and pass that along. They're good kids. You know, you have to keep up your grade average. So there's a lot of things incorporated in with our Explorer program. We were one of the first in the state to be a tribal, and I believe we're 5th in the nation for a tribal department to have an Explorer post. We actually recently celebrated our 15th year of existence.
Congratulations on that, 15 years. That's a great thing to hear. I know there was always a story I heard. It was one that was a patrolman now with Light Horse, or still a patrolman, but, you know, she started through the Explorer ranks.
Yes, we've actually had several that went on careers here with us. We have 2 active duty. We have one that works in dispatch that was one of our Explorer program. Another one just recently left for the Air Force. So we've had quite a bit of success as a department looking to recruit through that. So it's definitely an opening door. Obviously, you've got a chance to meet officers. You have a reputation, and that's kind of a working go-to with people, is having that ability.
You know, it's also another thing. I mean, the Explorers, I mean, y'all just don't meet or anything like that. Y'all do make a presence. I know there's a big presence, of course, every year. It's at the annual Mvskoke Creek Nation Creek Festival. And again, this year, y'all were out there. Was it handing out bracelets or like those little wristbands for the children?
Some of us were.
Okay.
We actually had and as part of the Explorers, we also do competitions, which are law enforcement-based scenarios. Different departments hold them. We went to the the Kansas Capitol Bowl in Topeka, Kansas, and took a crew to compete there. I took 6 of our Explorers. Mm-hmm. They did really well, considering it was Aurora, Colorado was there. Teams from St. Louis area were there, Kansas, Tulsa. So my kids did really well. And the ones that stayed behind did step up and that's one of our big events, the Year's Festival, is doing the wristbands for kids, helping to eliminate some of that chasing children around.
How many youth do you have in the Explorer? I know you probably mentioned this earlier, and it probably just slips in my mind and everything.
It varies from time to time. I can have right now we're running about 12 is about our number. We definitely like to increase that, giving that opportunity for people to come out and know who we are.
How can, if somebody is interested in becoming a Light Horse Explorer, how can they become one?
Well, you have to have your grade point average up, obviously. Mm-hmm. That's one of our requirements. There's not you just don't have to be a Creek citizen. You just don't have to. You have to live within our boundaries.
Okay.
Be of good moral character. Obviously, if you've got a criminal record, that's, as any police department, you're around sensitive material, and that's just an opportunity that's going to be there. Okay. 14 to 20, mm-hmm. And we say 20, it's actually right up to 20 age out at 21. School, we've got one young lady leaving for college. She'll be in college this year. As I said, another one just aged out, and he's also working for a dispatch. So plenty of opportunity there. We meet every other Sunday at our police department. And most other agencies, their Explorers will meet a weeknight or something. Sunday just seemed to work well for us. A lot of people do travel coming back home to churches, so it's kind of convenient to go to church, have lunch on the way back through to the Explorer meeting, and then back to wherever they live. So it has worked well for us, and in the near future, I imagine staying there. You can follow us on Facebook, Light Horse Explorers Post 106. I generally post the meetings up to see when we're meeting, and that's generally the best way to go. I do have an email of 124jdawson@gmail.com. Or you can reach me at the office at 918-732-7847. You'll have to leave a voicemail because being the game ranger, I do have other duties, so I'm not always in the office, but when I do, that's the number.
Well, it's not only just, like you say, the game ranger and the light horse, working with light horse explorers. I mean, it's, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like you got a lot of light duties. So we were also bringing up how you're also one of the coordinators with the Light Horse Reserve Program. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When did you start that? And can you tell our audience what reserves are?
Okay.
Yeah.
A reserve police officer with our department's a non-paid position. They're volunteers. They come out almost like a big explorer, except they get full police powers when they complete their academy. There's a 240-hour academy. You'll go through the same process. You'll go through an interview. All the qualifications to be a police officer are added on to the reserves because there always is that possibility. There's a general aptitude test, the state posse test. You'll have to take the mental, the MMPI, pass that, and then complete the academy, which is 240 hours across, and it's just, we've had people go to Wagner, Drumright. We just had a couple graduate from Wilburton, so they travel a little bit. It is a big commitment, generally about 6 months, a couple nights a week, and some weekends are involved. So it's a big commitment. If you're looking to get into law enforcement, it's definitely, especially with our program, again, it's a good way to get the officers to know who you are, be involved with our department. That kind of gives us some parameters that when we go to hiring, that may be the foot up you need.
Mm-hmm, exactly. I mean, of course, y'all go through the background checks whenever you fill out applications,
just like a full-time police officer would.
And I remember, I was hoping, at one time, I was talking with a couple of the guys, and back when my brother was also a light horse, and we spoke about it, and it was just that I was hoping to be it. I went through the interview process. They I guess what do you call it, cleared me, passed me, and but I mean, unfortunately, I could not make the meetings. I could not be. I mean, like I said, it is a big commitment, and with the job that I'm at now, I mean, you just never know whenever I needed to be at this job instead of while I'm with the reserves. And you are absolutely right. It is a big commitment to do that. So my hat goes off to everybody that participates. That is a reserve. I mean, because it is a good way to get your foot in the door to become law enforcement wherever that may be.
Absolutely. Whether it's with our department or another department, it's definitely a good place to get started.
Awesome. And there's another thing Game Ranger Dawson does. One thing that a lot of law enforcement do, and our Light Horse Tribal Police Department is no different, is our community outreach. One thing about us, the Mvskoke Creek Nation, we have a pretty good sized community. I mean, we cover 11 counties in this jurisdiction. So can you tell us a little bit about what community outreach is?
Sure. It really started about a year ago. We, under the direction of Deputy Chief Daniel Wind, he wanted to give something back to the citizens, the ability to have an outreach, be that hand to the community that we haven't had for many years. We do everything from showing up to community outreach programs like showing up at council meetings. We go to the community centers. There's just a lot of different places we can go and help. We just got back yesterday from some training, and I'd like to look at putting a program together for our seniors about senior fraud, as far as the phone calls, the people wanting money for you, the coming up with stories, just to give that to people to open up.
And that is a big, a big issue. I mean, we hear that a lot, especially among news outlets, and get it all the time. I guess a lot of the elderly do get taken advantage of. I feel like these criminals, do feel like it's an easy target.
And it's embarrassing. Once it happens to you, you don't want to tell anybody. So hopefully us being out in the community, we can give them a resource to maybe, if not if not help them, at least we can help everybody else to understand this is a problem everywhere. This is a nationwide problem, and to target our citizens really angers me. So hopefully with some information even to the family, we can kind of help some of this elderly abuse.
You know, to be able to get like more, you're saying you're wanting to talk to more about this within the community outreach. You know, like how can I guess one get an appointment or one get be able to get a meeting with?
As always, contact the police department, Lighthorse, 918-732-7800. Deputy Chief Wind is the one to go through for that. He'll set up the time, he'll inform us, and schedule being, we will do our best to make a committee meeting set up. Like I said, I'm trying to work on maybe a PowerPoint presentation for this fraud issue and some other issues that are going on, and hopefully we can share some information to help everybody.
No, I know you brought I brought up on fraud again. Could you bring up the other issues maybe that y'all speak about one more time?
There's just a lot of other issues that face us. Community-oriented policing. A lot of people, I'm blessed to work here at Lighthorse because we have time to stop and work with citizens. We're just not only law enforcement chasing bad guys around. We have time to come out and do community events. If it's my explorers come out posting colors, to coming out and helping with community dinners, helping the elderly, seating, parking. My explorers have been active with that, and that's, to me, is all part of community outreach with our reserves, our explorers, and the other officers who take that time to go out and do the community events.
That's great to hear. Great to hear. And so kudos to Lighthorse Tribal Police Department for all that y'all do. I want to make sure I'm getting this information correct. With the reserves, if they need to get a hold of you, it's 918-732-7847.
Yes.
And also it's 124jdawson@gmail. Is
Yes,
that correct?
yes.
Gmail.com. That's if any of our youth want to get involved at our Lighthorse Reserve program, and it goes from 14 to 20. And we just want to give them that opportunity. I know you said y'all meet
Bi-weekly on Sundays.
Yeah,
and this is just a point. You know, some kids aren't athletes, and academics is just kind of, we do a lot of that. But if there's that little group that you really don't, you're not the athlete, you're not really wanting to do academics, but you want an extracurricular, we're probably a good outlet, or at least to look at. Come in, sit down, enjoy a meeting with us. We'd enjoy having you come in, kind of see what we're all about, meet with the other advisors, the other explorers, and it may be something that you'd fit into.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank Game Ranger Dawson for coming out. I know he's a busy man, got a busy schedule, so we're going to let him get back to it. So, again, Game Ranger Dawson, thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy day to come speak to us at Mvskoke Radio.
Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with Chris Coburn from the Mvskoke Loan Fund. We're going to be talking about their department and what things are going on with them. So please stay tuned to Mvskoke Radio here on 1240 The Brew, on 1240 AM and 106.3 FM.
I started doing it when I was 11. I wanted to be just like my big brother. And some of my friends were already doing it. We got hooked fast. I just can't get enough. I'm Jacob, and I'm addicted to playing the drums.
There's lots of stuff that makes it cool to be native. Doing meth isn't one of them. Find something better to do. Check out ncai.org. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians.
Hear that? That's the sound of hope being killed by meth. Methamphetamine use is causing huge problems in our community. Hear that? That's the sound of something you can do about it. Events like rodeo, res ball, and family time can help keep kids away from meth.
Talk to your kids. Keep our culture alive. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians.
Learn more at ncai.org.
Welcome back to Mvskoke Radio here on The Brew, 1240 AM and 106.3 FM. We just spoke with Game Ranger Joe Dawson here with the Mvskoke Creek Nation Lighthorse Tribal Police Department. We're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to be speaking with Chris Coburn, who is our CEO for the Mvskoke Loan Fund. How you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing well, thanks, Darren.
We got also a good friend of mine, known him for many, many years, many moons, Eric Starr. So I guess he's with y'all's department now?
Yes, we just hired him. He switched over on Monday. He'll be my business development officer. in essence, from people have just a general idea about what we do, to some community outreach and working with our chartered communities, to we're using training as a vehicle, and we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But he'll be a lot in the things that we do that are training related, pre-loan related, not really on the lending side, but helping people get to where they have the right documents to be considered.
Awesome. Okay, great to hear, and also great to see him too. Let's go ahead and just get started. Whenever, of course, I know the Mvskoke Loan Fund, y'all did an incredible thing. Y'all started doing tax preparation, getting
Yes.
everybody's taxes in. Of course, I was one of the guys that went to it. And so I couldn't say thank y'all enough for helping me out with that. And
Glad to.
But also, there's a lot more things that y'all do. So could you please tell us a little bit about the Mvskoke Loan Fund?
Yeah, I can kind of just give a quick overview and then maybe wave me off if I talk too long, because
Nah, you're good.
I like talking about what we do. What Mvskoke Loan Fund is, we are not really a true department like you would think of other parts of the nation. We were created with a grant between Mvskoke Creek Nation and the U.S. Treasury CDFI Fund to create a unique financial institution. Okay, and what a CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution, is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
In essence, we are a non-profit corporation, financial oriented. We do a lot of things that like a bank would do, like a pre-bank.
Okay.
A lot of our clients do not have the credit or skill to get qualified for a commercial loan at a bank or a credit union. We do a lot of development of clients to get them to that point. Okay. Right now, our lending is strictly commercial. So typically, startups or low business expansions. We're about approaching 4 years old as an organization.
Wow.
In the last year or so, since I became CEO, I've done a lot more to get us to where we're operating more efficiently.
Okay.
Where the grants and the people that regulate us were much more in compliance. But also, for us to get where we want to get as a people, as a nation, we've got to be better bankers.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes helping our clients grow and skill, almost like a school.
Okay.
They come in, maybe they don't know how to do financial statements. They don't know how to do their accounting right. They've got an idea and a piece of paper. Well, an idea and a piece of paper nobody's going to lend against. But what I've laid out with our business boot camp programs are classes that develop people's skills. People need to be passionate. They need to be confident to win in business. But it's huge risk. And the ones that are a little humble and they know I don't know it all, or maybe I need to work on this skill or that skill, that's a lot better client for me to lend to. Mm-hmm. And I can help them find the training they need to round them out so they're more successful. So when I lend to someone, unlike a bank or credit union, I don't lend to you, Darren, if you're the client.
Yeah.
And goodbye, and then until you don't pay me, I don't talk to you again. We walk alongside our clients.
Okay.
We mentor our clients, and that's part of what the people that fund us require. Because it's such a high-risk environment, we need to be there in case you need some help. Mm-hmm. Maybe your sales are down. Well, maybe we can work with our technical assistants and talking with you one-on-one or a site visit, and we can help you develop things to increase your sales. Maybe we know someone that's in an industry you can't quite get a hold of, and we help facilitate a networking relationship so you can make a deal.
Okay.
And you mentioned earlier VITA, the Volunteer Tax Project. Mm-hmm. The IRS approached Creek Nation and asked for, they needed a program that geared more toward citizens and toward people, Native people in this area. What I've tried to position Mvskoke Loan Fund as is, if people have a question about finance in general, we can be that one-stop shop of information. We may not have a product or service that fits them, but we can try to point them in the right direction. And so the VITA project is a 4-month-long giant volunteer project of my team and then a few volunteers across the nation mm-hmm. to help people save that couple $100 in tax fees. And we applied recently for a grant. We'll find out in the next 6 weeks if we get it. And then it won't just be one time that we did it. We'll do it every year from mid-January to mid-April.
I hope so. I hope that's the case, man, because it was like a great thing. And it was right, of course, right there. And I would rather go to you say that, and of course from any of the other businesses that do that. They do that, but they also require the tax fees. And I mean, chances are if that happens, you're probably taking your taxes.
Right. But also, to use that as an example, maybe somebody is getting a decent-sized tax return back. Rather than going off to Walmart or Sam's or on Amazon and blowing it all, there's an opportunity for discussion about financial planning. Maybe $500 you ought to set aside into savings, or maybe, hey, maybe we can sit down and do a budget with you and see where we can help you. That way, it's not so hard each month.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're keeping them there. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You're just keeping them there, just to be able to help them out in the long run. I mean, just be able to budget, be able to make that money stretch.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, in people's credit scores, they don't understand how much that impacts not just borrowing. That impacts the ability to get a job, sometimes to get a promotion. It impacts their house insurance and their car insurance rates. They have no idea. But those are part of the metrics that those industries use that judge people. People need to start understanding that even if you're not borrowing actively, that credit score is used by others and it costs you money. And so we need to do things that shift the needle to more responsibility. I like to say something, I don't know that I made it up, but I sort of think I did. But we talk about tribes being sovereign people. We're our own sovereign nation. I want to see that pushed down all the way to the individual level, where people are taking control of their lives and they're sovereign over their own finances, their decisions, their households, their communities, families, and we know the rules. So we're kind of like coaches and referees. We know the rules of finance and how they impact people and businesses. And people don't have a choice on whether to play or not. We have these things that we're judged by. What we want to position the loan fund as we are advocates for our people. Right now we're strictly commercial. At some point in the future we hope to bring employee and consumer lending back. And the whole package between training and services and lending, they all go together. So for now, I call us kind of a quasi-independent agency. We are not far enough along to be self-sustaining. Thankfully, we get some help from National Council. The council nominates 3 of my board of directors. The executive branch nominates 2. And then each committee that we have responsibility, there's an ex officio officer from the Business, Finance, and Justice from National Council that's there to inform council. And we have someone, the Secretary of the Nation of Commerce is there to inform chief side. So we have lots of accountability, but everybody together is trying to do a good thing. And if I can grow, I've improved the processes, now we just got to grow.
Yeah. Sounds like a lot of communication too. I mean, a lot of communication. Of course, I mean, we need that communication in order to make things happen. You got to be able to talk. You got to be able to communicate amongst, even the higher ups.
Yeah, because I mean, ultimately, my job as chief executive or whatever, I'm running an agency, but I'm running it to serve our people. And the people in our government that have the positions of power and have the access, they need to know why we exist and what we do. And whether that's working, hopefully each fall and spring with kids on Spending Frenzy, that living board game we do on a high school gym to teach them how to do money. Whether it's the VITA project, whether it's commercial loans or later other things. Or the business boot camps, which hopefully we can talk a little bit about what and why.
Yeah. I mean, before we do that, I really did want to bring up, it was the little exercise that you did with the kids in Eufaula.
Yes, the Spending Frenzy. Yeah.
I mean, the Spending Frenzy. It was great. I mean, because honestly, even though it was the children doing it, I was taking a lot in just like by watching them and seeing what they were doing. It was a great exercise just to be able to observe.
Yeah.
From that. So I mean, that's going to happen again here.
Yeah, we're looking. 2 schools have reached out to us. What I want to try to do is repeat it each fall and each spring with one school, hopefully with a good amount of Native American students, whether it's Johnson O'Malley or whatever that's active in our jurisdiction. We're hoping that 2 schools have asked us, Beggs and Glenpool. So maybe those will be the 2 we do this year. We haven't ironed that out yet.
Okay.
But we hope to. We do have some things on YouTube. If you look up Mvskoke, the traditional spelling, like Mvskoke Media uses, Mvskoke Loan Fund uses. If you just Google Mvskoke Loan on YouTube, you're going to see 3 videos. 2 are about Spending Frenzy with kids, and 1 is one of our business boot camps that we did at River Spirit, which is called Indianpreneurship. And
that's what I was kind of going to roll into, especially with whenever we hear boot camps, man, I'm thinking push-ups, jumping jacks, and sit-ups, man. It's like painful. But this is like a change in that. I mean, it's a business boot camp. Could you tell us about that, please?
Well, yeah. I wanted to make the mental connection, too, because for military people, respect them greatly. I mean, they go away for a period of time. They're broken down. Their bad habits are broken down. They're physically broken down and taught how to do things that are hard and difficult. But there's a reason they have to be fit to live. I mean, it's life or death in the military.
Yes.
In business, it's not life or death, but it's quality of life or death. If you fail, you're risking personal assets and family relationships and the stress that can come from that, possible bankruptcy, the embarrassment, your dream dying. Okay? I don't want you to have that pain. What Indianpreneurship is, the full curriculum is a 12-week curriculum developed by another group called ONABN that you go through long and slow. But most people don't have that time to go through studious. So what we did is we made a 2-day intensive. We bring in guest speakers, tax advisors, other people, and we hit the highlights of the curriculum of Business Boot Camp. But it teaches you what you need, and if you develop those skills and you create a formal business plan, then you've been forced to go through the I don't want to do a push-up, but I need to, so I know what I'm doing. The business plan is who you are, why you exist, who you serve, and how you're going to measure it. And it's not a one-time thing. Most people think it's a one-time thing you do just to get a loan. No, that's who you are and why you're there, and you need to revise that at least once a year. And then you need to keep good financials each month to keep score, and are you getting to your goals or not? And so that's why I'm drawing that corollary. It's short and it's short and intense. People's minds are blown, but it's really good for them, and it gets them on a good path. So that's, the Business Boot Camps is the mindset of how we're going to do training, and we've got about 4 or 5 classes we think helps round out a business owner so they have a better chance of succeeding.
So are these business boot camps, are they like stages going into, or is it like, I guess like a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3? Is it something like that, or is it?
Indianpreneurship is a standalone. It's the main, most intense, because you're covering all the aspects of what an owner would consider for management. Okay, financials, business plan, who you're serving, why. You cover all that. And if people do with the curriculum, which is pretty expensive curriculum, if they work through that on their own over the next 12 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever, then they can write a really robust business plan, and we can discuss that with them. Okay, so it gives them the tools to get started. It's a home base, the Indianpreneurship. Okay, the other courses that are there are more to round them out. So once you have a good business plan in place and you're doing business, you need some way to keep score. Well, one big way people get in trouble is not doing good accounting. They mix their personal finances and their business finances, and they can't do that. Okay, if life gets hard, you're going to rob the business's future to take care of your current need. And so one of the best ways to stay out of tax trouble, but also to let the business thrive, is to have really good accounting. And QuickBooks is the easiest to use, and it's the most accepted. And people can buy a really robust version that's a cloud-based version for like $30 a month.
Wow.
So, they need to know who they are, why they exist, what they do. That's the business plan. That's what Indianpreneurship is. Then they need to know how to keep score on a regular basis so they know if they're winning in the game of business or not.
Okay. How long has Indianpreneurship, has that been going around? Because I noticed that y'all just added 2 more classes, so
yeah,
it sounds like it's getting positive.
Well, yeah, we started the training focus, and it helps us with recruiting too, as far as soliciting people for what we do as far as good loan clients. But it's mostly a service, and let's say we get a class of 30 or 40, maybe 10-20% of that might actually possibly be a loan client. But we began this in April in earnest. And by the time we're done with this campaign for this fall, which will be right about the end of the fiscal year, about October 1st, we'll have done 21 different courses.
Wow.
And helped 400 to 500 people as far as attendance, mostly Native American and Creek.
So, are these classes, it sounds like they're filling up. We just have to have a limit.
Yeah, I have to have a seat limit, but also they're expensive. Depending on the course, I'm fortunate enough that I had some grant funds that I could use toward this end. And then, going forward, we'll repeat these classes, but they won't be as intense. There'll be a couple. It'll be what funding allows. Okay. And
you did bring it up how you're going to be having speakers, but what all is this? I just want to go into a little bit more detail. Like, what all are you going to have, on the Indianpreneurships for that day? You don't have to go into the whole thing. We don't want to give away.
Well, and as I said on YouTube, Mvskoke Media did a great video of the one we did at River Spirit a few months back.
Yes.
So if they Google Mvskoke Loan Fund, they can see a video of that. And hopefully we have a website, mvskokeloanfund.org, with links to some things that I'm redoing. So forgive me, it's not the best website, but it will be. Okay. But in essence, from hello, we go through, we go back and forth between the curriculum and business pack, but each phase of Indianpreneurship curriculum covers, it starts off with who you are and why you're doing this. Because if you don't understand why you're doing what you're doing, some people are approaching business for the wrong reasons, and they're not ready to start. They shouldn't start.
Yeah.
Okay, your why has to be strong. And so we kind of cover that in that. And then through the day, we get into defining more management techniques. What are they doing? Who are they trying to reach? Is it a product or is it a service? You know, and then we get into a lot of marketing things. How do you get that message out? How do you make sure it's received? You've probably seen signage where the right thing that might have worked on a billboard will not work on a car or on a wall, or vice versa. Because somebody going at 70 miles an hour is going to see a missing word, and you're going to say something you shouldn't say.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, they're going to say like child abuse is not our way, and they don't see the not, and they see the picture of the person, and it looks like child abuse is our way. That's
Yeah.
exactly the opposite of what that person meant to say. But the wrong media was used in the wrong place.
Yeah.
So we talk about that. We talk about using different free media. I mean, you know, social media, how to use it properly, how not. We have a special breakout class that we do as a business boot camp on that. Somebody's going to talk about you in this society no matter what. So you need channels that you can control, and you can tell your message and tell why. And then how to engage on those other sites where sometimes the argument's not worth it.
Yeah.
And then getting into financials and reporting and taxes and legal structure, you know, quickly someone needs to be something separate from themselves. Doing business as a DBA is how most people start, but it's not how they should stay. They need to separate the legal liability. So an LLC is a good thing. Sometimes corporation, different things like that. So over the 2 days, we're dialing into those things, but it's more so people understand how they tell their story. Because the more they know their story, they can tell a funder like myself or another bank or credit union, but the more they know their story, they're going to see who they want to communicate to, maybe what they're doing is not working. And it's a constant work in progress. Does that make sense?
It does. It really
So,
does.
so you know, we've got one of the best tax resolution companies in the state. We bring in a speaker from them called Polston. They talk a lot about how to stay out of trouble and what to do if you are in trouble with your taxes. You know, we've got business investors and other people that have been through training. So it varies based on when we do it, but we try to give a great deal of value for those 2 days.
All right, Chris, what we were speaking about yesterday too, there was a thing that you was wanting to bring up. It was about we're dealing with. I guess it was like the one fire. I was taking over something that one fire. You know, I got started or was doing.
Yeah. So in addition, and I'll give you, Darren, all these dates of upcoming business boot camps. But also, One Fire, the nation was part of a group that worked together. It was Cherokee Nation, Chickasaw Nation, Choctaw, Mvskoke Creek Nation, the U.S., several U.S. agencies, Oklahoma Business Roundtable, a group called REI, which is who I use a lot for training out of Tulsa, Rural Enterprises, and I2E, which is a business incubator and investment company. And they've got an incubator in Tulsa and Oklahoma City. Well, collectively, they came together and they received some funding to do a course that's called Grow OK, like Grow Oklahoma. Okay, so this is year 2 of a 3-year grant. Okay, and Mvskoke Loan Fund, because of the business boot camp and the training model I'm doing, it more fits us than it did One Fire, who's more of an investor and a manager. Okay. So October 19th, Creek Nation, Mvskoke Loan Fund will be hosting at the College of Mvskoke Nation a course, and it basically, the subtitle is Get to Know Your Perfect Customer. This isn't for a new business. This is for an existing business trying to really get to know, what does my customer need? It's more on the sales, more on the how do I design my product, how I communicate my product, how do I grow customer base, okay? So it's more for an established business, where most of what Mvskoke Loan does is for an emerging business. Okay, and so they'll be bringing in teachers and whatever, but that'll be October 19th at College of Mvskoke Nation. We'll be facilitating some enrollment of that, and we'll be taking more involvement in Creek Nation's responsibility to that grant.
And you can say your focus is more towards the businesses that have already been established, and they're still trying to get the customers. They're still trying to get
So I mean, it could be an advanced stage startup where they're already doing business, or it could be an existing established business that's been around for a long time. But one of the things that hurts businesses' growth is they don't understand who their audience is, and either their products get stagnant, they no longer meet a need, or they don't know how to communicate that well. And so this course that they've designed is doing that, and we're going to be partnering with them to get that message out and get people there. And then we'll be doing it again in 2019, the last year of the grant. And One Fire has been a good partner in the sense that the financial commitment, thankfully, because I'm a nonprofit without not a lot of budget, they're keeping their financial commitment, but for the delivery piece, the teaching piece, that fits us better.
Okay.
So it's more like we're partnering with One Fire to meet the commitment of Creek Nation.
Well, I hope a lot of people that that do own their business will take full advantage of this. I mean, because it's for them.
Yes, and this one in particular, because of the funding source, a lot of tribes are involved, but this is for anyone, not just a native, not just a Creek. Mm-hmm. The funding is for anyone in our territory. So an Altmogi-based business, Brooks, Brewer, who owns this radio station, the car dealers, the local banks, any of them could send someone. And I think our room will hold 60. And so we want a packed house.
Yeah, take advantage, people.
I
mean, I was hearing it right now. Take full advantage of it. I mean, are there... When was this one going to happen again?
Yeah, the class for Grow OK, it's going to be October 19th at the College of Mvskoke Nation.
Right.
Our other classes, if I could run through them.
Please
Okay.
do. Yeah, and I apologize about that. Grow OK was really staying on my mind.
No, it's a big thing, and we're excited to be part of it. So, our logo will be on there as well, but this is a statewide thing with several tribes and several federal agencies, and so Grow OK is important, and that's going to be part of what we're part of. But just upcoming business boot camps, August 15th for accounting for QuickBooks software. That's a 1 day. That's 8 to noon and 1 to 5. And any of these classes, Mvskoke Loan Fund's main number is 918-549-2603. People can call. One of my staff, we're not a big team. We're 4 of us, including me. But any one of us can get you signed up, okay? Yeah. So August 15th and September 18th, we've got QuickBooks coming up.
Okay.
And I'll just hand you these as I go. I have more at the office.
Good. I was writing it down as we speak, too.
Yeah, we've got a social media and marketing class. And this isn't how to build a Facebook. This is how to use it and how to engage and how to control your message on social media.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The how-tos, you can go on YouTube and see how to build something.
Yeah.
This is the marketing and the science on how to control your message and what to look out for.
All right.
And that's a half day. That's 9 to noon. We only have one left, and that's September 13th. Okay, and that'll be, and these will be available. Some of them are held at the McCombs building, some are held at the housing building where we office, so they need to contact us for details. Okay, we've got a networking class. You do stuff online to connect with customers, but people forget the art of doing it face to face. And being in the community. And I know you and you work at media. Well, maybe we might meet somewhere else at church or a ball team or something, and then you'll come to mind for me for a need, and I point a customer or a client to you. You do the same for me. So your face-to-face, real-life networking is where most deals get done.
Yeah.
That art and relationships has been lost. So this networking class has kind of helped to remind people about that. And then Green Country Botech, they've got a small business development center. They sponsor with the local restaurant every Wednesday morning almost, a coffee, and different people from the community talk here in town. And we sponsored that for the month of June in honor of festival, a coffee, but different people talk and connect here in Altmogi about what they're doing. It's a lost art, but we need to keep it going.
That does sound like a great thing. I mean, like you said, especially with the networking, just a face-to-face, that is kind of like a lost art. Of course, what we see, what I think among business deals or just talking is the handshake. You know, I don't see that. We don't see that a lot no more. No. We just see it over the phone, or we see the FaceTime or anything like that, or Skype. We see those. We don't see what we're doing right now, Chris.
Yeah, it's like one of my kids. Teenage college daughter. She wouldn't even talk on the phone. She just texts, and I'm like, I get it, but I that's not me.
Yeah,
you need the more face-to-face to really get to the heart of what you're about and develop that trust. So lastly, back to entrepreneurship, we were able to add and schedule. We initially planned on only 4, but we've upped that to 6 this year. So 2 more, August 28th and 29th. And these are all day, 8:30 to 4:30. We'll have like a light lunch and snacky stuff and drinks so people don't have to dart out.
Yeah.
I jokingly say that we try to cover so much in 2 days. Sometimes lunch break is more like an eat, chew, and listen. Where we're still
eat
going.
Now, taste it later.
Yeah, because we're still going. But we provide something. Not necessarily gourmet, but you'll get some sustenance. So August 28th and 29th, and then September 11th and 12th. Both are at the McCombs building, the tribal conference room, all day. And so that's 918-549-2603, Muskogee Loan Fund. Give us a call. We'd love to get you in class. We'd love to fill those up.
And that's where the Muskogee Loan Fund is located at. It is in, not Macomb, but it is in the housing building.
Right. There's, we have a group of offices. We jokingly call it a suite because there's one number and then there's some other numbers after it. So we call it Suite 126. There are no suites in that building, but we call it Suite 126. But anyway, we're on the first floor in kind of the northeast corner of the housing building.
But like I said, 918-549-2603 to call to reserve that seat for the entrepreneurship
or for any of our classes.
Any of the classes,
or if they just have questions. Our tax project's really only live for 4 months a year, from mid-June to mid-April, mid-January to mid-April, 4 months. So then we have a lot more access to answer people's questions and things. But our clients, if they need copies of something or something basic, they can come in and get those year-round. And so that's kind of what we do.
Back to like the entrepreneurships. I mean, how's the I guess not the outlook, but how's the I guess the feedback? Is it like, are you hearing it as a good thing? Or
we're hearing a lot of good things. I mean, people have varying opinions, like that speaker talked too long, or the seats are hard, or things like that we can't really control. But most people really value it, and they are happy to be there, and they're happy that it was short. And they're happy that they met not just us, but people from REI or people from other companies that can help them. So they're leaving with, they're leaving with information. They're leaving with contacts that can answer further questions. And if they use the curriculum they're given, they're leaving with tools that would cost them hundreds of dollars. And a college class wouldn't even be as good as that, and if they'll use it. So out of that, we're about to close two deals. We'll be helping open a daycare for a client who had always just been a daycare manager, but she's going to be an owner, and that's coming up shortly.
Man, that's great to hear.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
that's a lead, Muskogee Media, just to let y'all know that.
Yeah. And so those kind of things, for us to succeed, what we do is high risk. We've got to manage the riskiness by having our clients be as prepared as possible. And we're going to have a lot of success stories. And in our printed literature that we use media for, or our website, or whatever else, we're going to have success stories sections. And we're going to be bragging on our people. And that's part of what I promise to my loan clients is I will help co-market you. As long as you're paying me and doing what you're supposed to so that I get the money back that I can help somebody else, I want to help you get that word out there. Now, if they stop paying me, then I'm going to stop spreading the word about them because I got to get the money back.
Yeah.
Because I have to lend it to somebody else later. It's not a loan. It's not a grant. So some people, when they refer to Muskogee Loan Fund as a program, they think it's a program. No, we do a lot of services, but if you get a loan, it's a loan, and you got to pay it back.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. Yeah, we know those all too well.
Yeah, and we make very little money on lending. That's our only way of generating our own revenue. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So, I mean, I just want to go over these dates one more time. I mean, especially with, besides the entrepreneurship, is the QuickBooks and stuff. So we got August 15th at Tribal Conference Room, and also September 18th, same place. And that's with the accounting software, that QuickBooks that you were talking about.
Yeah, and then these two, social media marketing.
And that's August 21st. Okay, that's just half a day, 9 to noon. Okay,
Yeah.
And then of course we got the entrepreneurship, which is wait, one more time.
Networking. We got a networking.
Networking for success. I'm sorry. Chris pointed that out for me. That's 9 to noon as well, August 21st.
And then the entrepreneurships, the 28th and 29th coming up, and then Grow OK, which is the unique one that's more for established businesses, coming up again on October 19th, which we're excited about that one.
Exactly, and if ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions on that, please contact Chris or their staff. They say they got a staff of 4, so any one of them is going to be able to take your call.
Yeah, so it's myself. I can even tell you who the staff is. Myself, I'm the CEO, kind of a working manager. I've got Eric Starr now aboard. He's a business development officer. He's brand new, but he's a real good guy. I've got Gayleen Dixon. She's my finance officer, and usually if the phone rings, she'll grab it. And then I've got a guy named Robbie Deere, and he is my compliance and lending officer. So we have unique roles, but then we work as a team to get it done for our people.
Great to hear. Great to hear, Chris. I want to thank you for coming out and just telling us what Muskogee Loan Fund is, and also, the things, the past exercises that y'all have done, like the spending frenzy, and I always thought that was a great success, and it sounds like it's going to keep growing and growing. I mean, if 2 schools as I'm not going to, I'm pretty sure 3 schools or maybe 5 schools are going to ask next year. I mean, it was such a positive thing to see.
Yeah, and just as we have capacity, as we have funds, we want to be a service to our people.
Exactly. So, yeah, I want to, again, thank you for just coming out, telling us what your department does, what Mvskoke Loan Fund does, and what y'all's going to be doing with these workshops, with these networking, with Grow OK. So, again, Chris, thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And Eric, good seeing you again, and y'all take care, and probably be giving y'all a holler, especially on that one lead that we heard about.
Okay.
So other than that, I'll go ahead and let y'all go ahead and get back to y'all's daily lives or daily work lives.
All right.
So
Thank you so much.
thank you so much again. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, we were going to, I kind of threw everything off here today. The reason why is because we had Game Ranger Joe Dawson. You know, as soon as he came in, he, I didn't want to just leave him here, you know, just like let him just sit there and wait. And plus, he was getting more nervous by the second. So I kind of held off on what I was going to be doing. First was going to be the Judge Moore had an interview with Mvskoke Vision, which is Jason Salzman, you know, our producer for Mvskoke Vision. He had a while back, Judge Moore had he heard a case. It was a person that was going for citizenship. He's a freedman, and he was vying for citizenship. And it was talking about that because recently we all know about the I guess the freedmen, the association. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm pretty sure my editor and everybody will correct me if I was wrong after Mvskoke Radio. But, you know, they not too long ago, they filed suit in federal court against some of the people in the Mvskoke Creek Nation. And, I mean, pretty much it was a lawsuit against the Mvskoke Creek Nation. Well, you know, with that being saying, Judge Moore was going to be, Judge Moore spoke with Jason Salzman about a case that he heard. It was a while back, and it was him just talking to Jason, kind of like just bringing that back up and what he reviewed, what he ruled on, and what ended up happening. I guess it went to this. I mean, after that, that decision that Judge Moore ruled on was saying that he got appealed, so it went to the Supreme Court, and I guess that decision must have got reversed. So it was that was the discussion. So it was really just for that, and but I mean, of course, this interview takes about 14 minutes, and of course, we're not going to have a lot of time to be able to cover that, which is okay. We always got next week, and of course, Gary understands. I mean, I really wanted to be able to talk to y'all about what the Mvskoke Loan Fund did, and what also Game Ranger Joe Dawson did. I mean, both departments of the Mvskoke Creek Nation, both different departments, and they're doing some great things in their different areas of the nation. So we're going to do what we're going to do is we're going to take. I'm just going to go ahead and go over some of the announcements, which is not a whole lot, to be honest with you. It's for today. It's just a couple of them, as a matter of fact, and we have, of course, I'm going to go ahead and bring up again. It was the Indianpreneurship with Chris Coburn of Mvskoke Loan Fund. That's coming up on August 28th and 29th, and September 11th and 12th. Those are going to be 2 days, both 2 days, and they're going to be all day. So. And when he says business boot camp, it does sound like a boot camp. You're going to be just getting that information absorbed into your head like crazy. But in order to get involved in that, these are for new businesses. Please contact the Mvskoke Loan Fund at 918-549-2603 to reserve that seat. They can only have 18, so it's really limited. And it's very understandable why it's limited. So, yeah, it's a very good opportunity. So please jump on that. Also, I mean, there is the Networking for Success, and that's coming up soon. August 21st, here, of course, in Okmulgee from 9 to noon at the housing building. Limited seats are available on that one, the same number, 918-549-2603. And then also we have the QuickBooks accounting software, August 15th, here at Tribal Conference Room at the Solomon McCombs building, which is on the tribal complex of the Mvskoke Creek Nation. And that's from 8 to noon and then 1 to 5. And same time and same place again, September 18th. And they can only take 12 on those. It's 12 per class, and the laptops will be provided. and the preference are given to Indianpreneurship graduates. So again, the same number for that is 918-549-2603. And another announcement I was wanting to bring up was the Mvskoke Creek Nation Public Officials Ethics Commission is holding a public hearing on August 21st in the Mound Building Auditorium on the Tribal Capitol Complex. It'll be from 6 to 8. The purpose of the hearing is to give the public an opportunity to review and comment on the proposed rules and regulation as an addendum to the Campaign Financial Disclosure Act as adopted by the National Council. Now, we're going to have Shirley Almarigi. She will be on the radio show, and she'll be on here next week, as a matter of fact, so she can talk more about this, what's going to be going on. So, but I want to bring that up again to y'all. Will be a public hearing August 21st at the Mound Building Auditorium from 6 to 8, which is on the Tribal Complex. They're going to be talking about the Campaign Financial Disclosure Act. So please come out there. You're very interested. Of course, it's going to be a public hearing that is for the public. So that is for everybody there. I mean, if you want to know more about it, you want to know more about what's going on with the nation, please come out to that. So, and of course, you know, with Mvskoke Media, we always got something going on. We got, of course, we have our mugs and our bags, and we got T-shirts for sale. So please give us a call if you're interested in that. I know those are selling. I know they were selling like crazy during the festival, and I think they should be still selling right now. For if you want more information on that. And not only do we just sell the mugs and the T-shirts, we also sell a lot of, we also do a lot of marketing. We got Chelsea Rich and Brianna Dawson. They do a lot of things with the marketing, with our promos for our TV shows, for our paper, for the radio, Mvskoke Radio. So they got a lot of things going on. They can talk to you more about that and get some prices. But if you're interested in that, please give them a call, 918-732-7720. That is Chelsea and Brianna. And we are getting close to the end of our episode. We got a couple minutes left. So I just want to thank y'all and for just listening to us. And a couple things that we got going on at the Mvskoke Media is, I think we have another TV show that came on yesterday called Sour Sofky. I think Jared Moore is the one that created that name, and he had a couple of people on there yesterday. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's going to be running like every Tuesday. I think at 6:30 or 7. I'm going to make sure I get that information down correctly. But that's going to be Sour Sofky, so please look for it. It was on YouTube Live yesterday, so once I get more information about that, I will let you know whenever I come back next week and be able to give you that. Also, Mvskoke Vision that airs on Saturdays at 1 on CW 1219, and then also we got Mvskoke Radio here on the Brew, 1240 AM and 106.3 FM. So we're keeping y'all. We're keeping the information out there. So we hope to y'all's listening. We hope y'all's watching, and we hope y'all's reading. So we want to just again thank you very much for letting us be able to do that for y'all. So, and we hope y'all have a great rest of the Wednesday. And this is Darren DeLon with Mvskoke Radio. And I want to thank my technical producer again for all your help, Brooks Brewer. But we will see you next week. And Gary Fife, enjoy your rest of your vacation. Thank you for listening to Mvskoke Radio.
You've been listening to Mvskoke Radio. Join us again next week for more local, tribal, and community news and updates. Madot.